So before we get started, check out the following links in the description box below as highlighted in the image shown. So you'll be able to get our past papers, our link to our official website, link to accreditations, our link to donation page, and contact details in the description. So once you'll be watching a certain video of any lesson or of any past paper, you'll be able to get all these links, and you can be able to get to download past papers, to reach to our official website. You'll be able to see links to our accreditations so that you can see which authorities have accredited us. You'll be able to reach to our donation page as well as our contact details.
Welcome back. Still on ATD Level 3 past paper, Principles of Economics. August 2023 is the sitting in, and we have done question number 1. Now let's move directly to question number 2, and part A reads, using demand and supply diagram, explain the effects on the market equilibrium price. The effect on the market equilibrium price on the quantity transacted for commodity A given Roman 1, an imposition on a per unit tax on the suppliers of commodity A. An imposition on per unit tax. So let's go directly into drawing our graph. And this is an imposition of input tax on the supplier of commodity A. An imposition of input tax on the suppliers of commodity A. Let's draw the graph. Our horizontal axis, we're going to have the quantity demanded, and on the x-axis we're going to have the price of the commodity. Then the supply curve is positive sloping, which we are going to call it SOSO as the original supply curve, and our demand curve that is always downward sloping, the original, we are going to call it DO. And our equilibrium quantity is QE, and our original equilibrium price is PE, and we're going to call this point E1. Now if we impose input tax on the suppliers, production is going to be expensive, or production costs are going to increase, which will lead to a leftward shift in the supply curve. And our supply curve, our new supply curve, I'm going to use the blue pen, and we are going to call it S1. So our new equilibrium here, equilibrium quantity, is Q1 and our equilibrium price is P2. So the price of the good is going to increase and the quantity is going to decrease, or the demand is going to decrease. That is the effect on input tax on the suppliers. I'm going to call this point E2. Let's go back to our question. So the equilibrium market, the equilibrium market price, here we have seen that price has increased and the quantity has decreased due to imposition on per unit tax. Now let's go to Roman 2, where we are required to draw a diagram on a reduction in the production cost of a commodity. What is likely going to happen when we reduce production cost? Production cost reduction. Production cost reduction effect. How is it going to affect our equilibrium price and quantity? Is it going to increase or decrease? Again, have our supply curve as SO, that is original, and our demand curve, original demand curve, is DO. Now if we reduce the production costs, suppliers are going to produce more, which is going to lead to a shift in the supply curve to the right. And then this is PO, this is QO, and our supply curve is shifting to the right like that. Our new supply curve, because supply has increased, this is S1, I'm going to call this S1, our new supply curve, and our quantity is going to increase. This is Q1, but the demand or the price is going to reduce like that. This is P1. So the price has reduced, but the quantity produced has increased. Suppliers are going to produce more of the good. So here we reduce the production, prices reduce, that is equilibrium market price, and the quantity demanded increases. So Roman 3, we are required to draw a graph on the increase on the price of a commodity B, which is the substitute for commodity A, an increase in the price of commodity B, which is a substitute. So if the good is a substitute, then if it increases its price, it means the demand for commodity A is going to increase. Consumers are going to demand more of commodity A. Let's draw in the same graph. So here the demand curve or the demand is going to increase for commodity A in case of price increase for a substitute. And so our demand curve is going to be D1, and this our equilibrium quantity now, our new equilibrium, is this point is going to call it Q2, and our price, so it has increased from QO to Q2, and the price is also going to increase. The price is also going to increase to P2, from PO2 to P2. The quantity is increasing and the price is also increasing in case of a substitute good. So here we are seeing the price increase and the quantity also increasing. That was what we were required to do by the examiner. We are supposed to draw 3 graphs, but we draw 2. But in an examination scenario, you're going to draw 3 graphs. So that is it. Now let's move to part B, which says explain 4 factors that limit the multiplier effect in an economy. Explain 4 factors that limit the multiplier effect in an economy. Let's read through the answers that I have prepared for you. We're done with part A. Part B, the multiplier effect occurs where an initial increase in spending leads to a larger overall increase in economic output. So an increase in spending leads to a larger overall increase in GDP, that is gross domestic product. And what factors lead to this? Factor number 1 that I got is leakages from the circular flow of income, which is through savings, taxes, and importation. And under savings, it occurs where when households save a portion of their income instead of spending it. So when households save more and spend less, they save more and spend less, they are likely to reduce the multiplier effect. Another is taxes, and the leakages from the circular flow of income is higher taxes can reduce disposable income, leading to a lower consumer spending. If a significant portion of income is taxed, less is available for consumption, hence reducing the multiplier effect due to high taxes. And when the taxes are low, then the vice versa happens. And then we talk of imports, and we say if a large portion of additional income is spent on imported goods and services, the money flow of the domestic economy reduces, leading to a reduced multiplier. The initial increase in spending benefits foreign producers rather than stimulating the economic activity. So if a larger portion of additional income is spent on imported goods and services, the money flow out of the domestic flows out of the domestic economy, raising the potential of the multiplier. That is, if we spend our income or additional income on imported goods, the initial increase in spending benefits foreign producers rather than stimulating economic activity, that is domestic economic activity. Another factor is capacity constraints, and that is full employment and supply side constraints or limitations. Under full employment, it occurs when the economy is already at full employment, and so the economy cannot produce more. And in such a case, demand may lead to higher prices rather than an increase in output, thereby limiting the multiplier effect. On the supply side limitations, we say constraints in the supply of the economy, such as shortages of raw materials, labor, or production capacity, can prevent businesses from spending or from responding to increased demand. This also limits the extent of the multiplier. Another is marginal propensity to consume. And the marginal propensity to consume, we say when you have a low MPC, the multiplier effect is stronger when the marginal propensity to consume is high. The vice versa is also true. And income distribution is also under the marginal propensity to consume, and we say if additional income is concentrated among high income holders, if additional information is concentrated among higher income households who typically have a lower marginal propensity to consume, the multiplier effect is reduced due to higher income households who spend less. If you spend less, then the multiplier is reduced. You have to spend more to have a higher multiplier. Reduced multiplier. And then expectations and confidence. We have the consumer expectations, and confidence and business confidence. If consumers are pessimistic about the future, they may choose to save more rather than spend less. And this limits, if you spend less, we have said the multiplier is reduced. So similarly, if business are uncertain about future economic conditions, they may be reluctant to invest or hire additional workers, which can also reduce the multiplier effect. We have said multiply, we have to spend. You have to spend more for the multiplier effect to be felt. And then another factor is interest rates, and then there's inflation and external shocks is another factor. Factor number 8 that we have, or the last factor that I got, is government policies. Everything here we talk about spending. Whoever spends more, then a multiplier effect increases, and spending less limits the multiplier effect. So all the factors are going to be explained by that or through that, spending and the effect on the multiplier. So we're done with question 2. It had only part A and B. We've drawn the graphs in part A and part B. We just read through. So thank you, and see you in our next question.
So if you like this video, you can always enroll with us. You'll be able to access more of these revision sessions, and also you'll be able to find well done lectures or pre-recorded videos for all the KASNEB courses as well as CHRP. And in case of anything, you can always reach us out. We have our contact details on the screen. Feel free to call, feel free to WhatsApp anytime. So thank you, and let's meet in our next session.